The trajectory of Alphabet as of late has been, dare I say, nearly Nvidia-like.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Nvidia a couple of years ago. And if we go to the Wi-Fi Interactive here, I've got some interesting stats for you and some interesting charts. So behind me are all the top market capitalization stocks of the S&P 500. This is what happened yesterday, where you see Google was up 6%, Broadcom in the upper right up 11%. Let me put on the pre-morning quotes first so you can see, as you said, Julie, Nvidia down in the upper left, down about 4.52%, but Alphabet up another 3.69%. Broadcom up a very similar amount. And let me just show you how some of these stocks compare to each other, and then I'll show you in terms of market cap. So this is going back 3 years, compares Nvidia to Alphabet. Nvidia up 1,000%, so that is 4 digits right there, versus Alphabet's very respectable 223%. Clearly Nvidia trouncing it, but you put on the year to date and you can see they were on a pretty similar trajectory until recently. Then they have diverged. So Alphabet now up almost 70% here, while Nvidia up 35% or so. And then if you compare Alphabet to Broadcom, another stock that has just been flying, Alphabet is just barely outdoing it. So Broadcom at 63% versus Alphabet's 68%. So Broadcom, another one that is going Nvidia, so to speak, to use your terminology. Now I want to compare Nvidia's market cap to Alphabet, and I have adjusted Alphabet and Nvidia so that they hit $3 trillion on the same day. So that's what this X timeline, the horizontal timeline is. And you can see right at this dividing mark, right at the 0 mark, when Alphabet hit $3 trillion, it has surged now, and it is very close to getting that to that $4 trillion mark. In fact, by my calculations, if we were just to linearly extrapolate, it could be there as early as next Tuesday. But based on what it's done over the last few days, it could get there today, it could get there tomorrow. So I wouldn't be surprised to see those headlines. All in all, it just kind of highlights how fast Alphabet has been up and coming in terms of its performance. When we recently had a slight market correction, Alphabet was one of those stocks that just went sideways. So that is a clue that it has a lot of stability right now, that there's a lot of people buying those dips, a lot of institutional as well as retail interest in this name.
And what's so interesting also is that when Nvidia sort of began its journey, its spike following the introduction of ChatGPT and the surge in sales of its GPUs, I mean, it wasn't a small company, but it wasn't as big, right? To your point about sort of where they were relative. So it's just extraordinary to see a company the size of Alphabet, the velocity of the gains that we have seen. Jared, I want to broaden it out and also ask you about seasonality, because we're getting to the end of November here. What do we need to know about what December tends to be like for markets?
Well, fortunately, Decembers tend to be quiet, and I think investors could really use that. So let's take another look at the Wi-Fi Interactive behind me. I'm going to put a year-to-date chart so we can see the S&P 500. Year-to-date up 14%. From that bottom that we saw several months ago, up 35%. So you can see this latest, what we would call slump, not even a correction. That's usually 10%. This was about half of that, barely a blip on this. Now, December is generally the third best month for the S&P 500. It's a little bit better for the Russell 2000 for small caps. Small caps tend to outperform December, January, February. But when the market is already up as much as it is at this time of year, we tend to get a little bit of consolidation in the first half of December. So we might not expect to get that year-end rally until maybe the back half of the month. Having said that, anything can happen. If you remember 2018, that was the worst December since 1931. We had almost a bear market. We came to like 19% and change in the S&P 500. Nobody's expecting that for this year, but just goes to show you there can be some curveballs from time to time. So if history repeats itself, we should expect a couple of weeks of consolidation after this week, and then maybe moving up and enjoying that Santa Claus rally at the end of the year.